Welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We're acting as an investigative tutorial. We're going to unpack and analyze some truly extraordinary claims from a purported insider known only by the pseudonym Charles. Now, this information comes to us through Project Avalon's Bill Ryan, who actually logged over 30 hours of conversations with this guy. And look, we aren't here to tell you what to believe. Instead, we're going to build a solid framework to help you critically process these massive world-shifting claims.
Because honestly, that's the ultimate question, right? When you're faced with testimony that completely upends our conventional understanding of history and power, how do you objectively map and process it, especially when it comes from an anonymous source? Rather than taking sides or falling into that trap of immediate belief or immediate dismissal, we're going to use a step-by-step critical framework to evaluate Bill Ryan's interactions with Charles and figure out the profound implications of what he's saying. Okay, here's our syllabus for dissecting this case file today. First, we'll profile the insider. Second, we'll look at the global corporate board. Third, Earth's evolutionary petri dish. Fourth, the purists versus non-purists. Fifth, the false flag threat. And finally, truth and reconciliation.
Let's jump right into Section 1, Profiling the Insider. You know, whenever you're dealing with an anonymous whistleblower, understanding their background and their motivations is absolutely paramount. And what's super interesting about Charles is that he lacks traditional historical credentials. He isn't a historian or an anthropologist or some ivory tower scientist. That's a crucial data point when you're trying to verify his claims about human history. According to Bill Ryan, Charles was basically a fixer. He was an asset brought into this hidden world not just because he was smart, but because he was literally born with remarkable psychic abilities like remote viewing. These talents were used in a quasi-military role to essentially make problems disappear before they even started. But the story goes that he eventually woke up from this conditioning, deprogrammed himself, and actually refused direct orders to silence Bill Ryan.
When we evaluate insider testimony, we always want to look for tangible, real-world examples of their work. How do they actually manipulate public events? Well, Charles claims that as a young man, he was sent into Greenpeace demonstrations for one specific reason: to intentionally incite violence. He was there to give the police a rock-solid excuse to crack down on the protesters. It's your classic agent provocateur tactic, and it gives us a really clear window into how he says this controlling group manipulates public perception entirely from the shadows.
Moving on to Section 2, the Global Corporate Board.
So, having profiled our source and established his role as an on-the-ground manipulator, we need to map out the shadowy power structure he claims to report to. Who is giving Charles his marching orders? Well, think of it essentially as a corporate board of directors, but they're managing planet Earth. Charles insists we aren't talking about the Illuminati or the Freemasons here. This is the capstone of the pyramid. It's an unnamed international group, largely based in the UK, made up of representatives from 33 major bloodline families. They allegedly sit in boardrooms making decisions that dictate all global affairs, treating our entire planet exactly the way a ruthless executive board treats a multinational corporation.
Now, when we contrast this staggering timeline of control against mainstream, verifiable historical records, it highlights some massive anomalies that we have to carefully scrutinize. Charles claims the human race is fundamentally a genetic experiment initiated by extraterrestrials over 1 million years ago. But more recently, these 33 families supposedly rose to the top of the earthly management structure about 17,000 years ago. From a critical investigative standpoint, asking for physical evidence of a 17,000-year continuous human governance structure is exactly where this insider testimony deeply conflicts with mainstream archaeology.
Which brings us to Section 3, Earth's evolutionary petri dish.
Let's explore the underlying philosophy that allegedly drives this corporate board's whole agenda. If they are managing the planet, what are they actually trying to achieve? To understand their motives, we have to talk about biological theory. Charles claims this group operates on a very specific evolutionary model called Lamarckian evolution. Unlike strict Darwinian natural selection, Lamarckian theory argues that the conscious learning, the trauma, the creativity, and the experiences you acquire during your lifetime are directly absorbed into and then transmitted through your DNA. So according to Charles, these controllers believe they are literally farming enhanced human DNA. And this just brilliantly illustrates how the controllers view themselves. They care deeply about the survival and the evolution of the overall company product, right? But they are entirely detached from the individual workers. They view Earth as a literal petri dish. Because think about it, you can't design a perfect apple in a sterile lab. You have to grow it in a messy garden. They believe the richness of human culture, our wars, our love, our violence, all of it is a necessary catalyst to naturally optimize the human genome. If millions of people have to die in the process to make the collective DNA stronger, To them, that's simply corporate efficiency.
All right, Section 4, purists versus non-purists.
This brings us to a really fascinating ideological divide within this ruling group, and it heavily shapes their current agenda. It also explains why Charles was allegedly allowed to speak to Bill Ryan in the first place. We're looking at the core psychological differences here. You have one side that demands a ritualistic fair fight, contrasted against those who just prefer to quietly neutralize threats. The purists operate on an ancient, almost medieval honor code. If someone challenges them, they won't shoot them in a dark alley. They'll hand them a sword and demand a duel at dawn. The non-purists, on the other hand, are just brutally pragmatic. They would just put a bomb under a researcher's car and be done with it.
Currently, Charles claims the purist faction is actually in charge, and that means they are fully sanctioning his leaks as a sort of cosmic litmus test. They're deliberately putting this explosive information right in front of us, challenging humanity to prove we're intelligent enough to sit at the negotiating table. If we respond with ignorance, or mockery, or violent rioting, they believe it proves we're just dumb animals who deserve whatever dark fate they have planned. It's their twisted version of karma. They leave the clues in plain sight so humanity can never, ever say we weren't warned.
Next up, Section 5, the false flag threat.
So, according to this insider testimony, this ongoing million-year genetic experiment is currently facing a severe, immediate threat. For the first time in human history, we haven't just evolved organically. We have allegedly acquired and reverse-engineered downed extraterrestrial technology since the 1940s. The controllers are purportedly terrified right now. Why? Because you are suddenly mixing incredibly advanced, galaxy-faring technology with the deeply unpredictable, aggressive, and often violent nature of the human species.
So, what is their alleged solution to this problem? Well, much like historical wars, Charles claims a staged galactic threat is actively being planned to manipulate public awareness. The claim is that they are going to use a massive false flag alien invasion, specifically framing extraterrestrials as a hostile threat to Earth. Just as past tragedies were used to justify terrestrial wars, this staged alien threat would be used to totally panic the public into endorsing aggressive military expansion and space-based weaponry all throughout the solar system.
And finally, Section 6, Truth and Reconciliation. So, as critical thinkers making our way through this explainer, how can we practically and ethically process such controversial, heavy, and potentially terrifying information without just falling into total despair or outrage? Drawing inspiration from post-apartheid South Africa, Bill Ryan suggests our absolute best response is a model of truth and amnesty. Think about it. If we constantly fight this control group, we are just perpetuating the exact cycle of violence that they use to justify their control over us in the first place. Instead, this framework suggests we have to move past simple good versus bad dualistic thinking. We need a global truth and reconciliation process where past mistakes are acknowledged, amnesty is granted, and the focus shifts entirely to radical transparency, allowing us to finally work collaboratively to repair the planet.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought as you take this framework forward to critically evaluate the hidden histories all around us. Whether Charles is a genuine whistleblower revealing the corporate board of planet Earth or just a fascinating case study in anonymous claims, the core question remains. If this is truly a test of our collective awareness, are we actually ready to abandon retribution, respond with real intelligence, and evolve past our history? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep asking the big questions.